number 2 is in the books, and the 49ers actually tied a record. 41 points. Brock Purdy looked sharp, knocked off the rust, didn't get hurt. 12 plays for Brock Purdy. I told you guys that Kyle Shanahan likes 12 plays from his quarterback in preseason game number 2, and he got it exactly 12 snaps over that first drive. Apologize about some of the noise here in the press box, but we're going to give our very, very quick reaction before I head down to the 49ers locker room. By the way, this might be the first of 3 times this season that the 49ers are here in SoFi Stadium. First time being this game, second time when they play the Chargers in December, and yes, the Super Bowl this year is at SoFi. All right, that first drive for Brock Purdy is everything that you want to see from your starting quarterback. And I'm going to hold this right here because I know that the PA announcer is super, super loud. Brock Purdy had a good rapport with Dejon Stribling, caught 3 passes from Purdy. Stribling, I said this on X, the strongest hands of any rookie wide receiver that I've covered, and this is my 10th season covering the 49ers. He did drop a pass from Mac Jones a little bit later, but I don't think that we're worried about Dejon Stribling dropping passes. Only had 1 drop last season at Ole Miss, and that would have been a touchdown today. It's probably just going to help some fantasy owners because they're going to buy a little bit lower on Dejon Stribling in their drafts. Also was very impressed today by Sincere McCormick. We talked earlier about the fact that Patrick Taylor Jr. is done for the season, on season-ending injured reserve for the 49ers. Well, that opens up potentially the 5th running back spot for the 49ers. And McCormick, he's only 25 years old, has already been with 5 teams over the course of his NFL career. Ran hard today. I mean, that was a pinball-like touchdown that he had following the 37-yarder. And you might have noticed on the 37-yarder down the sideline, 2 really good blocks. One from Braden Willis, who's filling in at fullback, a tight end, playing a different position. That might punch him a 53-man roster spot. He had a great kick-out block on that run. And also a really, really good block from Jordan Watkins, who later caught a touchdown from Adrian Martinez in the second half. Of course, the most electric play of this game, probably the 83-yard punt return for a touchdown from Jacob Cowing, which had to feel good for a player who missed all of last season with a hamstring injury. Now, Jacob has been underwhelming as a receiver, and I think at 5'9", it's just really tough to put him on the outside. Today, there were a couple balls that he couldn't bring in, and I think that his height was a big disadvantage. But if he can show the electricity that the 49ers know he can show, and he did show today as a punt returner, he's probably going to make this roster. I mean, that was a sweet, sweet return where we saw the 4.3 speed on display from Jacob Cowing. And, you know, last year they had Sky Moore at punt returner, and he only very, very marginally performed for the offense. So, I mean, the 49ers would love if their punt returner can also be a big weapon on offense. I think that might be why Deebo Samuel fielded the first punt in this game. But that position is so important, and the 49ers have not returned a punt for a touchdown in a regular season game since 2011 when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, and Jim Harbaugh was on the other side today. So, I mean, if you can have that type of speed and electricity at punt returner, you don't care if that guy is an offensive contributor. You would love if he were, but if he's not and he could field the punts cleanly, arrows up for somebody like Jacob Cowing today. Osa Odighizuwa was one of the bigger names that started for the 49ers today on defense. Stock up. He's good. Where can I buy Osa Odighizuwa stock? When we watch the tape of this game, it's going to be fun. And the limited action that we saw from Osa, it's going to be fun to watch him wrecking shop. He had like 5 or 6 would-be sacks against the Chargers the other day in the joint practice. Now, speaking of Jim Harbaugh, back to SoFi Stadium right here, the 49ers, when they put up 41 points, a preseason record in 2013, Jim Harbaugh was their coach. Now Jim Harbaugh is the Chargers coach. Obviously, a lot has changed since 2013, and we saw a lot of Trey Lance today for the Chargers against the 49ers. So everything really came full circle. But I want to talk about the one drive that the Chargers' first-team offense and Justin Herbert had against the 49ers' defensive starters. I don't want to say first-team defense because there was no Fred Warner or Nick Bosa. But everything that was a huge issue for the 49ers at the practice on Tuesday over the 3 plays that they had, the 3 and out that they registered against the Chargers, they fixed. The first play was Omarion Hampton, who ran over Jair Brown, and the Chargers had a lot of plays to the edge. They successfully ran to the perimeter in the practice on Tuesday. Pitch right to Marion Hampton. Sam Okawanu set the edge, tripped him up. Jaden Duggar, the rookie with the long wingspan, was in there to clean the play up. So they set the edge on first down. On second down, the Chargers found Charlie Kolar, who's one of Brock Purdy's best friends, his tight end at Iowa State. I was about to say Ohio State. It's late at night here. Found Charlie Kolar in the flat. Renardo Green made an excellent open field tackle. Set up a third down. Deometer Lenore, great coverage on Ladd McConkey. Incompletion from Herbert. That was Justin Herbert's night. We knew he was only going to play one series, and the 49ers did well to completely stonewall that offense. So if anything, it was just a short 3 plays, but a confidence builder for a 49ers defense that did not play Fred Warner or Nick Bosa today. I could clip this back in here so I have a little bit better access of my screen so I could go through some of the stats and some of the notes about what happened today. Carver Willis made the start at left guard for the 49ers, played late into the game at left guard. One sneaky option, at least entering this game in that left guard battle, had been Austin Pleasance, who started instead of Trent Williams at left tackle. They shifted Pleasance into left guard, but then it looked like Pleasance got hurt in the second half, so we're going to have to see how severe his injury is. If he did get severely hurt or if he's going to be out for a few weeks, you can rule him out as a left guard option. But the fact that Carver Willis got first team looks today and Connor Colby was on the right side today, started on the right side because Dominic Pooney got a rest today, that is an arrow up for Carver Willis in that wide open left guard battle. Also, Renardo Green hurt his hamstring. We don't know how serious that is, but if Renardo is out for any period of time, it's Jack Jones who's the next man up. And Jack Jones had a nice pass breakup today against Keandre Lambert-Smith in the end zone. Remember, Trey Lance threw that ball, jump ball. Jack Jones has been good all training camp and preseason for the 49ers. That's the reason why you get that veteran insurance at cornerback. I am going to have to rewatch this game before I pass judgment on Alfred Collins. I know that was one of the big things that I wanted to track in this game. Did he hold up a little bit better against the run? Well, we shall see. I know that first down play was good for the 49ers defense. They only saw 3 plays from the Chargers starters. Adrian Martinez, good for him. I know he did throw a pick 6, but he also did run for a touchdown and throw a touchdown pass. Remember, he was born in Hanford. Shout out to the 559. And Adrian Martinez played football at Clovis West High School in the Fresno area. So he scored a touchdown and he threw for a touchdown in a San Francisco 49ers uniform, which is, I think, a cool story. Somebody who's probably going to end up on the 49ers practice squad. Jordan Watkins today, he caught that touchdown on the little post from Adrian Martinez. He made 6 catches last week. I think Watkins is a lock for this roster, but one area where I'd love to see him improve, some of those contested catches over the middle. I mean, he's a really good route runner. He's got a lot of speed, but again, he had one over the middle from Mac Jones where it probably should have been a flag, but Rodney Shelley was able to break it up. Watkins just wasn't able to hold on to the football. Those are the types of plays that he's got to start making if the 49ers want him to firmly grab that Z wide receiver position and by extension allow Deebo Samuel to be this all-around gadget weapon, which is what I think would allow the 49ers to most effectively replace Ricky Pearsall. But the good news is that they got Dejon Stribling. He was lining up everywhere. Inside receiver, outside receiver. Purdy had confidence going to him on some of those quick slants. Mac Jones had confidence going to him on the deeper little seam post crossing the field. That was the big gainer to Stribling. He had confidence going to him on the move that got him behind the defense. Unfortunately, he dropped that one pass, but Dejon, I think, looks the part, looks fantastic. He might have missed one run block. Kyle Shanahan will probably tell us if he shares my opinion. But you know what? I think that he's getting used to blocking at this level, and he's definitely has gotten used to running routes and catching the ball at this level. One more little look at SoFi Stadium for you guys, emptying out. Maybe the first of 3 trips for the 49ers here this season. I thought that Nick Martin today, the 49ers linebacker, he was playing late in the game, which sometimes isn't a good sign in these preseason games for a player's roster chances. And I know I've talked about the fact that Nick Martin isn't quiet, doesn't have like the wingspan that Jaden Duggar has, and we saw Duggar in coverage on a tight end. I mean, you could make up for a lot of missteps and mistakes with a 7-foot wingspan. Martin doesn't have that, but he still flies around like a missile. And even if Raheem Morris, who it's very unpredictable what he's going to want as a defensive coordinator, if he's not interested in Nick Martin, and he might be, well, we'll see at cutdown day, Brant Boyer, the special teams coordinator, has got to be really, really interested in this guy because he flies around. He forced the fumble that Marquise Siegel picked up today. I mean, he runs a sub 4.5 and is a ball of muscle, kind of like Kalon Black, who was awesome for the 49ers over a short period of time. I know I already talked a lot about Kalon over the course of the past couple days coming off the practice. Today we got to see Kalon, the running back, for the first time with live tackling, because you can't bring guys to the ground in practice. And the reason I was so excited to see Kalon is because he's Zeus. Zeus, we could flex here for Kalon Black. Zeus was loose today. I mean, he was, and the other day too, but today he had a chance to actually break those tackles. And what he did at Indiana, 3.2 yards per carry after contact, was on display today. He had 8 carries, 33 yards. From the very first one, he was finding extra yardage. He's a really good pass protector. People were telling me that Kalon Black reminded them of a young Frank Gore. I think he's going to be the best 49ers running back 2 behind Christian McCaffrey since they acquired CMC in 2022. So that's huge for the 49ers. They now saw it in actual game activity. 2 thumbs up for San Francisco. Maybe we see a little bit more of Kalon Black next week, but I don't even need to see more of Kalon Black to know why the 49ers drafted this guy. It went from everybody complaining that they drafted Stribling and Black because they were so focused on mock drafts to people understanding, now that they see the football happening on the field, understanding why the 49ers picked both of those guys in the 2nd and the 3rd rounds, respectively. And that is because they're really good football players. Stribling knows how to run routes. Stribling's strong. I mean, we could flex our muscles for Dejon Stribling as well. But Kalon Black, Zeus, was loose today out on the field here at SoFi. He can do it all. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. We saw that in the practice on Tuesday. He obviously can run and break tackles, and he can pass protect, and he's going to be a good number 2 to help give Christian McCaffrey a breather or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 this season. Khalil Herbert, after getting re-signed to the 49ers, scored a touchdown today. And then, we had some garbage time action today. Ephesians Prysock had a nice pass breakup a little bit later. Corliss Waitman executed a kickoff. I wonder if Brant Boyer is going to mess with that. I know that the 49ers didn't want as many touchbacks as Eddie Pinheiro had last season. If we're going to go to blast for the past, well, Trey Lance had a long run today for the Chargers. I still think that Trey is just, the release is slow. The processing's a little slow. The Chargers were a mess up front. The 49ers just dominated them up front today. And so Trey Lance was running for his life. We didn't even get to see much of Herbert, and it was DJ Ugalele and the second half. So when I watch this tape, I think I'm going to be impressed by some of the young guys on the 49ers defensive line. James Thompson Jr., Bryson Eason, those types of players. I think we're going to get to admire some good performances from those defensive tackles as we move into the final week of the preseason. So I'm going to head down to the locker room. The 49ers did not put up 50. That was one of the questions I asked on social media, but they did get a punt return for a touchdown in Jacob Cowing. Now the question is, can they actually do it in a real game? Because they haven't done that since 2011 with Ted Ginn in Jim Harbaugh's first game as the 49ers coach. We'll see. But I think that Jacob Cowing is probably carving out a spot on this team as a specialist, as a punt returner for the 49ers. We're going to find out about injuries. Renardo Green is a big one with the hamstring. And Austin Pleasance, that's a sneaky injury there for the 49ers because he might have been in the mix for the 49ers left guard spot. So we're going to find out about that when I head down. But, I can't wait to talk to Sincere McCormick. I love these games because this is about guys fighting for jobs and guys fighting to realize their dreams. And Sincere McCormick, he's on his 5th NFL team. He's still only 25 years old. His opportunity might have come today with Patrick Taylor heading to IR. Maybe the 49ers are going to take another running back on that 53 if Deebo Samuel doesn't ceremonially fill one of those spots. And if that ends up being the case, what an audition today for somebody like Sincere McCormick. Right now, Kyle Shanahan has started, so I'm going to head down there. We have a quick update on Austin Pleasance. It is not an ACL, which is good news, but the 49ers are not sure exactly what it is. So I don't want to speculate on his injury, but it sounds like Austin Pleasance, the offensive lineman, has a knee injury and is going to miss a little bit of time. Mike might be able to share a couple more of the injury updates. 49ers will definitely be making a couple moves after this game as they move on to dress rehearsal week against the Las Vegas Raiders. And then it's Australia and the regular season for San Francisco. What you wanted today, though, is for Purdy to look good, for Purdy to connect with Stribling, for Kalon Black to look good, for Carver Willis to acquit himself well at the left guard position. And, I have to watch the tape to know exactly how that went. But if Purdy looked good and got out of this game healthy and the frontliners did, well, that's all you can really ask for during the preseason. Look at beautiful SoFi Stadium, one of my favorites in the league. It's the 49ers' second home. Green might have pulled his hamstring, Ronaldo Green, but there's going to be more imaging tomorrow. The 49ers are going to fly back now, land at SFO, and Nick Martin also hurt his hamstring, so I'm sure he's going to get imaging tomorrow. That's a tough one for Nick Martin, who had the forced fumble, and Marquise Siegel had that recovery. All right, Jim Harbaugh's press conference is starting too. So this is it for me. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to head down to the locker room